Hey guys, Miss Erin here with the Highway City Community Science Center. We have a really interesting project for you today because the one question on everybody's minds is, are you getting the vaccine and when are you getting it? But we want to think a little bit about what is a vaccine, what goes into it, and what are we putting into our bodies? Most of us have gotten our vaccines and have already done this without quite knowing what goes into a vaccine. But we're going to break that down today with our project. All right, so what we're making today is a replica, or kind of a recreation, of what it will be like to get our vaccines. So this is me, and this is a practice vaccine. And this is me giving myself a practice vaccine from our project. But let's talk about the science behind vaccines. How do they actually work? What do they actually do? So vaccines protect us against all sorts of diseases. A lot of diseases we haven't even heard of because they've been eradicated by vaccines. Eradicated means that they've disappeared because of vaccines. So let's start with our immune system. When something foreign, when something that is not of our body enters our body, our immune system kicks in right away. In fact, there are so many things that enter our body that are not from our body, we don't even notice it a lot of times when our immune system kicks in. But if you've ever gotten a fever or a sore throat, that comes from our immune system kicking in. It's not actually from the germs that have entered our body, it's from our immune system response. Because most germs, especially viruses, don't like hot climates. They can't survive in the heat. And so when we get a fever, our body heats up a whole lot so that whatever germs are left over in our body aren't going to stay there. That's just one of our immune responses. We also produce a lot more phlegm, which is snot. And that's so that we can easier catch any germs that could enter our body before they do so. It also happens a lot during allergy season because our bodies tend to think that pollen is a foreign microbe. And so it produces a lot more phlegm so that those foreign microbes don't enter our body. So our immune system does something called the adaptive immunity response. And this means that it will remember a germ and remember exactly how to take it down, just the way it did before. So these are called T cells and B cells. They like to remember the germ, and they're the ones who remember how to take it down so that it doesn't make us sick again. This is called adaptive immunity response. So what vaccines do is sometimes they give us weaker germs. So either weaker germs or dead germs. And they put weaker germs or dead germs into our body so that those memory T and B cells don't have a problem at all fighting them off because they're too weak to replicate and take over our body, or they're dead, and so they can't do that anyway. And so they're not dangerous or harmful to us, but our memory T cells and B cells will remember them in case we ever get one that is active and alive. They can remember how to take it down because they've seen it before. There is a new type of vaccine called a DNA vaccine. So the way DNA vaccines work is sometimes just a part of a germ is injected from a vaccine. Sometimes it's just a part of a germ, sometimes it's a particular protein that will produce an immunity response that will teach our memory T and B cells how to fight off a different type of germ. So when these proteins or these parts of germs are injected, they have the same effect, but they're actually a lot safer than injecting weaker germs because it's not the entire germ at all. It's either just a part of it or it's a protein that's unrelated that will produce the same immunity response so that if our body ever does come in contact with that germ, it will know exactly what to do. And without further ado, let's get to our project. All right, so let's take a look at our materials. So far, we have 2 half popsicle sticks, and then we have 2 more half popsicle sticks for 4 half popsicle sticks in total. We have 2 syringes, we have one tube, we have a pipe cleaner, and we have a crayon. So our first step is we're going to look at the board that we were given. So the board has 4 slits in it, and these are going to be the legs of our table. Our popsicle sticks are gonna go in there. We're gonna look at which side those slits are bigger on. So they seem to be a little bit bigger for me on this side than on this side. So whichever side those slits are bigger on, that's gonna be the bottom of your board. And if they're bigger on the top, that's going to be the top of your board. That's gonna be the side that you draw on. So I'm gonna draw a picture of myself because I'm going to practice giving myself the vaccine. And I'm not a great artist, but also it's a little bit difficult to be proportional right now. So what you wanna do is you wanna make sure that this hole right here, this hole on the side of your board, is gonna go into your arm. So you wanna draw your arm right over that because that's where we get vaccines. So like I said, it doesn't look super much like a body, but we're trying and we understand the point. So it still works. Now these holes at the bottom, these don't mean absolutely anything as far as our drawing. These are just for our pipe cleaner to go through so that our syringe from the bottom doesn't fall out. All right, so I'm gonna draw some hands on myself right here. Got the pinky, okay, there we go. Some hands right here. And then I'm gonna draw my legs. And there we go, that's me. Put a smile, because I like smiling, and a nose. So hopefully you'll be able to draw you using your crayon, and it probably won't look like me, unless you look like me naturally, then it will look like me. Okay, so our next step is we are going to work with our syringes a little. So we're not going to put anything at all inside of our syringes. And this is important. You can put water if you want, but water can get a little bit messy throughout this process. And we find that it works just the same, if not better, with just air. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're going to pull this top part out. This part comes all the way out of the syringe. So you're just going to pull it out like this. It might make a fun sound if you do it. Mine didn't make that fun of a sound. So that's going to be one of your syringes. Your other syringe, you're not gonna wanna pull it out like this. You're gonna wanna push it all the way in, just like this, all the way in. So you're going to take your tube and you're going to twist it on the front of the syringe. So there's 2 little parts that you could twist it on. It's definitely not big enough to go around the outer one, so you're gonna twist it around the inner one. You're gonna use a lot of strength to do this. It's gonna take a lot of your strength. So get those muscles working and go ahead and twist it. Twist it really, really well. Otherwise, it's not going to make a full connection. So, next step is that even though this syringe is in 2 pieces, you're going to want to take just this piece. Forget about this for just a second. You're gonna take just this piece of the syringe. And you're going to do the same thing. You're gonna twist the tube all the way on, just like this. And when you're done with that, you should have something that looks like this. So now, you can take the other piece of your syringe and just pop it right back inside. Apply a little bit of pressure if you need to, and push it down. You'll notice when you push one down, the other one goes out. Just like a hydraulic lift. So there are a lot of things that use this type of technology. For right now, we're using our syringes to replicate a vaccine. Actually, there is one part of this that I did forget. So I'm gonna pop this back out. I'm gonna put my tube through this hole. So through the hole in our arm, that's where I'm gonna put my tube. And this will also take a little bit of strength and twisting, and that's a good thing. We want our holes to be a little bit smaller than what we need, so then it'll fit in there snugly, just like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing that we just did. So I'm gonna pop this out again. I'm gonna twist it back on, just like this, and then put the cap back in. Just like so. So our next part is going to be that we're going to take our pipe cleaner and attach our bottom syringe. So this is so that our bottom syringe doesn't fall off. If we use tape, it would probably fall off. Gravity does that kind of thing. So I'm gonna flip my board over so where you can't see me, or you in your case. And I am going to put one end of my pipe cleaner through one of the holes. I'm going to put the other end of my pipe cleaner through the other hole. And I'm going to pull them, kind of fasten it to the vaccine. In fact, I might pull my vaccine a little bit more in, just like that. Now I'm going to flip my board back over so that you can see you again. And then I'm going to twist it. So there's a lot of twisting in this project. You're going to be an expert twister by the end of this project. So I'm just going to twist it so that I can fasten this on there. So that it goes just like this. And the last part is probably the easiest part. So if you've been struggling so far, you can take a breather for this one. All you're going to do is you're going to put the legs of your table on there. Now obviously when we get vaccines, we're not on a table. So this is really just for the sake of the project, to make the project, stay up by itself so that the syringes work. But obviously we're not laying down or we're not fastened to a table in any sort of way. So I'm going to flip my board over to where I can't see me. I'm going to take my first leg. I'm going to wiggle it in the slit, just like that. So it'll take just a little bit of wiggling because these slits are a little bit smaller than what the popsicle sticks are. And again, that's so that they fit very snugly. And we're going to do that again over here. I see another slit. So I am going to wiggle my popsicle stick in there. Just a little bit of wiggling. And then I'm going to do it to the two remaining slits and the two remaining popsicle sticks. Just like that. Now if it pops out a little the other side, that's totally okay. In fact, that's pretty normal. It means that it's gone through the board and it's pretty secure. All right, so once you have all the legs of your table on, you're gonna flip your project over again and it should stand up by itself. If it's not standing up by itself, then maybe adjust the legs just a little bit. And your syringe is probably gonna stick out a lot. And this is how we practice giving ourselves vaccines. So we can think about what goes into a vaccine. We can think about what might go into any upcoming vaccines that we might receive. And we just push the syringe just like that. And that's all that happens when we get vaccines in real life. I know for me, getting shots is a really scary thing. And so by making this project, it makes it a lot easier because I can think about it before it happens. I can mentally prepare with this science project. And also, I know a lot more about the science behind vaccines as well. All right, so I hope that you learned a lot about vaccines today. I hope you learned a little bit more about what goes into them and why they work. And I hope that if you are a little bit scared of shots, that this will make it a little bit easier. Like I said, sometimes when we practice, we can mentally prepare ourselves for things that scare us. And I know that I'm still a little bit afraid of shots, and so this is definitely going to help me. Now, that said, we want to make sure that we are never going to try and put anything inside of our own bodies. Now, these syringes do not have needles. We couldn't really put anything into our skin even if we wanted to. But if we could, or if you ever did encounter this kind of thing, then I would say never, ever try to use this project or any project to inject anything into your body. The only people who can do that are doctors. And so if you want to mentally prepare yourself for a shot, just use your project. But never, ever try to inject anything into your body. Doctors, nurses, and medical professionals are trained to do this. They know exactly what's going into your body, and they know that it's safe because of testing. We do not know that before we try and put something in our body. And with that being said, I hope that you learned something. I hope that you would enjoy the project. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about our after-school program or contact us, you can find our information right here. And until next time, have a great day.